Well, hi, everyone. We are here to talk about the survey that was distributed back in October. All the results are tallied, collated, and several of us are here to have a brief discussion of the results and plans for moving forward. So there are two handouts to go with this, which will be available on the connector, and Bruce will go into how you can access those. Everybody will have a use of not only what the survey says, but how it's broken down. And then also there's a lengthy list of member suggestions. And we were thrilled to see the number of member suggestions that came out of this, which hopefully chapters will be able to use individually to see, A, where can individually I take advantage of some of these things for myself, and B, what might the chapter take on? Because there are lots of ideas hidden in here that can be real nuggets of possibility when we look at chapters moving out into the community and doing more projects, either cross-chapter with other groups within LPN or within your chapter among members. So with that as introduction, Bruce, I'm going to turn it over to you. And if you can just look at there are highlights and observations, and any of you who are listening online, just open your first handout that says focal points, and you'll see a number of bullet points, which are the areas that we're going to talk about first. And Bruce was wonderful enough to put together charts that make this a lot easier to view the 8 individual items against each other. So we're going to talk about the broad overview first, and then begin to look at how the charts break down.
So basically, in the highlights and observations, as you can see, we had 45 members, which was a pretty good return rate out of our 140 members in the organization who participated in the survey and answered questions about what they value in LPN and what they want in LPN for it to thrive and grow in that and become sustainable. They shared their ideas in general and specifically as well. And the top 4 areas that members selected as important to them were: be part of a meaningful and growing movement larger than myself, stay informed with LPNQ newsletter, the connector, SIGs, webinars, and meetings, broaden and deepen professional relationships, personal friendships, and grow their knowledge through diverse resources, tools, references, and programs. The areas that were selected, kind of the middle of the road, were collaborate with peers, participate in and speak at conferences, and expand my network. And then the least selected area, or received the lowest score, was serve on committees and projects with other LPN members. And we are addressing some of these issues already as part of our strategic plan for 2019 that is currently underway in revising and updating from the effort in 2015, I believe was the year that we finished it last time, but 14. And the questions that we have now are really how to best tackle our priorities, how to identify the top interests, and how to get some momentum going. I'll leave it to Joyce to go into this a little bit further, but as everyone can see when they look at the selections, and as you'll be able to see in the charts, the thing that is most striking is that everyone seems to love and want more of what we do well at LPN, but we have a very low interest in participation in creating projects or making things go. So that's the difficult part of the report, and something we've got to face up to, I think.
That's more people coming on board here.
Yeah, we do.
It's Harry.
Hey, Harry.
Hi, how are you? I tried getting in the regular Zoom and it doesn't work, but I figured out how to get into your connector, so that's why I'm here.
Okay.
So just so you know, there might be, some people might be interested, but they can't get in using Zoom alone for some reason. I don't know why.
I don't know. It's same link.
It should work, but I got in this way, but I didn't get in the other way.
Well, you came in the way we want people to come in anyways. You came in through the front door instead of the back door.
Right. But if they called in the phone number, here's the other thing. I called the number that you had, and they said the conference has not started yet.
Huh.
So even if you called in, and I'm just giving you my experience.
Okay, well, after we get done, Harry, would you send me the information that you were, if you can, send me the.
Well, it's what Joyce sent us, so I used that. Okay.
All right, I just have to double check it. I don't know why that's happening.
Okay.
Could it have anything to do with just having started the recording now? Or I guess I wouldn't think that would be the issue.
No.
On.
I just want to, I don't know what the cause would be. I went through this with them the other day, but I don't want to get held up on this.
Right. Okay.
So.
Okay, so if we look at, and it's really the second handout of the two that were sent, where it looks at the suggestions moving forward. The way some of these came in, a lot of them wrote paragraphs. And it was very hard to extrapolate the essence of it. And some of them that were said over and over and over are the ones that you see on the bullet points here. So what you didn't include were the number of times that different members mentioned something similar, because it was written in a number of different ways. But they break down into these 6 categories that you see here, and I'll just take them individually. And if any of you have things to add in, feel free to. These were ones, where it says internal improvements at the top of that page, and you'll see a number of bullet points there. They were mentioned by multiple members, and some of them had individual notes with it. And so we'll highlight as we go through. Revise a strategic plan, including a renewed purpose, brand, and direction. That's underway. As a board, we are already taking this on. It's something that we've been working on actually over the summer, continue to work on it. And 2 things I'll add in here. A number of members, and it doesn't reflect here, said that we should change our name. And a couple people mentioned, I still hear people hear LPN and they think licensed practical nurse. And other people say life planning has changed, and as career development has changed. And because of that, they think that we need to identify ourselves differently. And this might have worked back in 2002 or 3 when we started, but when we look at 2018 and moving forward, there was in one case, it was called a plea to change our name. So it doesn't, as I said, it is not reflected here because it wasn't mentioned by 6, 8, 10 people. However, it was something that I just wanted to add in there to put on the record.
Were there any recommendations as to what to call it?
No, nobody made a recommendation. Although in a couple cases, because I had the privilege and I told everyone that their individual comments were confidential. However, since I knew who sent me the email with their answer, I would write back to them and say, do you have any specific suggestions? And one case got no answer, and a couple cases said, when I think of something, I'll let you know. So it was, we ought to change it, but I don't have anything to recommend at the moment. So does that answer that, Jan? Build a fundraising strategy. Absolutely. We need that. It's going right along with the grant writing, and sustainability and financial stability as being part of that. Sustainability is one of our major thrusts looking at 2019. So building a fundraising strategy is part of that. And FYI to that, there's a young woman in South Carolina, as a matter of fact, who I worked with over the summer on some other work, and one conversation led to another, and we are bringing her on as a member. We are giving her 1 year gratis membership. The board recommended this next week. She is coming on board starting January with the sole purpose of assisting us in developing a fundraising strategy. It's something that she has done. She's interested. She also used to work with seniors at a senior center in South Carolina and wants to be part of the ground floor of helping us develop fundraising strategy. So that's something that's in the works and is brand new. As a matter of fact, board, we haven't even discussed that with the board other than it was agreed upon unanimously in September. So it's really just a brief report in November. So that's it for the fundraising. Form a dedicated grant writing team with goals and deadlines for submittal. I will be the first to say we need that. I've been trying to take this on myself, and I realized that with everything else we're doing, this is almost a full-time position in itself. It takes a lot of research, a lot of background, and some devoted writing time. What we have done since the summer is we've created a 20-page narrative about LPN. And from that, we're going to be updating it based on our areas of involvement as we look at building the strategic plan. It's going to be based on sustainability, membership growth, and membership enhancement. Growth in terms of attracting new members and younger members, and also members like us, but also being more mindful of the engagement and the retention of who we already have. We're also going to be expanding our program, and Philadelphia chapter has really taken the lead on this with your OLLI syllabus that you put together. And as a matter of fact, Bruce, you want to mention to everyone, because the other chapters should hear it, and Jan and Harry are both with Philadelphia chapter who are on the call, of what New England is doing based on what you already created in Philly.
Well, no, sure. Based on your success, I asked Barbara to send me an outline of what she's doing, what you guys have been doing, and she did. And Barbara Abramowitz and Amy Lampert and I have met, and we've been working on creating a curriculum and researching. There are 12 institutions in the greater Boston area that have OLLI or lifelong learning institutes. And so the plan is to launch to find one that we can pilot a similar curriculum based on our membership, because obviously it's going to be a little bit different based on who we have and our talents. And then if it works there, see if we can put it in other institutions and broaden the number of members those who want to participate. We can create a flexible curriculum that can allow for other people to join and do it. So we'll see. We're working on it now based on your success. So we're excited about it. We think it'll be great. There are programs at Tufts, Brandeis, and trying to think where else, MIT, I guess, trying to remember, but there are a bunch of them. And there's a freestanding one in Franklin, Massachusetts as well. So, but lots of possibilities.
And for everyone else, the curriculum that Philadelphia LPN chapter put together is called Aging Well, Mastering the Art of Senior Living, divided into 11 components, of which 11 of their members do a particular session. And I believe, Harry, your session, is that on finance?
It's called Bringing Wealth to Life. And it is on finance, but it's really it's life planning. And it comes from someone that's already roughly in their 70s. There's a different approach for someone that's in their 30s versus someone in their 70s. And so it's really focused on someone already in their 70s. But you can focus on people that are in their 50s too. So it's a different approach than just general financial life planning. But it is life planning. It talks about the whole life. And then of course it does then talk about financial security, especially not running out of money before running out of breath. And that's a major concern, people that are in their 70s. So it has that, that's where we really talk about what are some of the solutions to that problem. So
That's
it's the wheel of life is where I start from. And then we focus on the financial life part of it, or financial security part of it.
It's great. And we do have a copy of that syllabus. If anyone is listening and would like that, all I have to do is just email us and we'll be glad to forward Philadelphia's syllabus so that you can create your own based on the talent that you have within your own chapters. And Jan, I believe you do one on resiliency, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is Jan's work, and each of the 11 sections are focused on one of their members and their area of expertise.
Yeah, but Joyce, here's the key, and this is the key. We try to use the wheel of life.
Yeah.
That is really, you have to remember, that's the trouble with this business. I mean, you can go in 20 different directions, but you need something that's holistic, that brings it all together. And then we each play a part in the spokes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's pretty much what we're planning. But I really think that we should focus this on because when people come onto this call online, they're going to want to see what we're
Sure.
here for, not so much the conversation.
Right.
We can
Okay.
focus on this another time.
Okay, to round out, we talked about our strategic plan looking at 19, and I had mentioned the earlier points of sustainability, membership growth, and engagement, program enhancement. Didn't mention improving technology, and that's one use of it, training within, and then handling some of the issues that we've dealt with in the past. So in that whole first, it's too much. It happens in every chapter where too few do too much. And if each person within a chapter would do a little bit, it would just make the load so much easier for everyone. And so it's really a message to our chapter leadership and also to the members about being willing to pitch in, whether it's at a chapter level or whether it's at the larger LPN or national organizational level, that everybody does his or her part. And we'll be really focusing on that chapter-wise and organization-wide next year. Planning more cross-chapter programs, regionalization. Travel's expensive. People want to go to conferences, they can't afford it. It's nothing to drop $1,000 just to show up someplace. And so looking at doing more regionally and chapters together is something that we're really going to look at, and also bringing members together. People in California say, the NorCal folks, we don't know the New England folks. We don't know the Chesapeake folks. We want to figure out how to do more together, and having this connector technology and meetings just like this makes it easier. And we're going to do more and more of that. That's why in virtual chapter, we are starting to get not membership, we're getting participation from all the chapters. And some of our the virtual folks say, we love it because otherwise I don't get to meet the people in Philly or NorCal. And so opening our meetings to each other and having them available. That was something that 4 or 5 people mentioned. They wanted to see chapter meetings be available on Connector. So if people from other chapters wanted to listen in, even though it would be a listen only, or if they could see it, whether they could participate in chapter programs, that was something that was very popular. And the other thing that was mentioned in that internal improvements is improving our diversity. And that was everything from age diversity to ethnic to male, female. It was a lot of issues. So there were a number, we just said build LPN diversity, but that really focused on a lot of different issues. And that's why we just said on multiple levels. So that's one phase of the feedback. Second phase dealt with outreach. And in outreach, broadening the professional visibility. People said things like, we're like a big secret. Nobody knows about us. And we have made an effort in the past year, and we're really building on this, and we're just going to continue to escalate it, aligning with Encore, with CEN, the Conscious Elders Network, with Society for the Certified Senior Advisors, Saging International, and so on. There are a number of like-minded organizations, and we will, and we already are, having more and more visibility. the Encore Network. Betsy Worley is a member of LPN. She shows up at every monthly virtual meeting and does take our announcements really seriously and takes it back to the Encore Network. It's a great way, if you want to market yourself or you want to chapter market it, to take advantage, participate, and let us know all that you're doing out there so that we can be a voice to communicate what you're doing to all these other areas that we are we're continuing to roll out and let them know what we're doing. Collaborating more closely with like-minded, well, that really goes with the first one, is expanding our network and affiliating with other nonprofits. We are starting to do that. And I've been writing, and Bruce has been writing to a number like the National Council on Aging and the area councils on the area agencies on aging, and but now using it on letterhead and letting them know our names, our titles, and what we're doing. And then they'll say, who are you and what are you about? And then we let them know who we are and that, what our purpose is in terms of providing the resources and the programs internally so that our members can do a better job with their populations, but also to become that national essential voice in shaping the whole face of aging as we move forward. So that is happening. Plus, Bruce has been very conscientious about not allowing us, but writing the letters. For example, when the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas incident happened with that shooting, and letting them know that we are elders in their corner and that we support what they're doing. And politically, we can't be involved, but we are showing support in a number of different ways. And we're getting letters back that they're letting us know that, and letting us know that they appreciate our support. So that's happening on a number of different fronts right now on a small scale, but we're definitely going to scale that up and do more in outreach as we look at the future. Taking our programs on the road. We think we've got some wonderful internal secrets. Philadelphia might have a lot of them. And how we roll this out, I'm not sure how it's going to happen, but because Philadelphia did the OLLI curriculum, now New England's doing it, other chapters may want to be involved. And the same thing is happening with some of the other programs. Several people have written to Bruce or myself expressing interest in ALPA and wanting to be trained. And one of the grants that we're working on right now is just about that, providing monies to do internal training and then do host identification out there, something site identification. So we see where are the CCRCs or the organizations that can utilize our members as trainers and get them trained so that this is all in the works and it's in the making. We're just at the beginning phases of it, but that's something that we do want to make happen. Opening our chapter doors to outsiders was something that several people recommended and said, could we come? Could we open our doors and just let people do a look-see for a session, and then they make a decision whether they like what they see, it's aligned with where they're at in terms of their own life work, and then make a decision about joining. But we haven't done much with that. And go continue to. I had a call or actually an email the other day from the virtual members just saying, could I have somebody come to my house and listen in on a meeting? And of course the answer is absolutely. And so we're doing more of this. It's just going to take time. And marketing our services and our talents to a broader base. That's something that we definitely want to do more of, and we have not up till now. But there's a whole corporate world out there. There's a financial world that a number of our folks could be marketing to if they knew how to do it and if the organization would help them in some way. So that's some of the outreach that came out of the suggestions that we're going to be looking at definitely as we move into 2019. Bruce, you want to take over and look at member impact and contribution, or because a lot of this is about the writing, and so you're so integrally involved in that. I thought that might be something you want to take on. Can you hear him?
No, it's muted.
Bruce, we can't hear you.
You're muted.
Helps unmute.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, talk about article impact and contribution area.
Yeah, so obviously lots of people, one thing that people stressed is that they thought that they could, they wanted to participate more, get more articles, meetings, member thinking. And one issue, of course, has been that few members have stepped forward in recent times for the LPNQs. The submissions for the newsletter tend to come from, be reports on the meetings, but we have the possibility of posting lots of articles on LPN, the connector, and we're happy to post articles that members write on the connector, as well as, of course, I'm hoping that people will step up to submit articles for LPNQ. Otherwise, I'm not really sure that it's going to be viable going forward unless members start to step up. So, this, as in other areas where members are asking for more, the only way more happens is if more members participate. And so that's, we really have to do a better job, I think, of encouraging members to contribute. And with LPNQ in particular, the articles can be short, they can be brief, they can be at any size that works, and they're not academic in nature, so they're just based on people's professional knowledge. So the other thing that comes up, of course, is that we want to encourage members to look at and share trends. It's something that members requested. They wanted to know more about the trends in the field. So again, the newsletter is a great place to do that, but also articles on the connector that could be posted, or forums that could be created for members to participate in.
Can I jump in just with an observation?
Sure.
I guess, kind of tying that back to the survey feedback, I mean, the thing that really jumped out at me that I was kind of surprised about is that it seems like that a greater, mass of individuals are looking to be kind of kept up to date on, and, keep up to date on industry trends. And it seems to be more of a secondary agenda for people in terms of personal business and networking and speaking and that kind of thing. So it's not surprising that we have this issue that, I really thought that there were more people who were, pursuing their careers, or, whether it's part-time, full-time, whatever time. I thought of this more as a professional organization. I mean, given we are a multidisciplinary group of professionals, but more that we're perhaps, actively pursuing that versus more passively being kept up to speed.
Well, you're right. I mean, you're right. We have 4 different constituents, and there are those, Jan, that fit exactly what you just said. They're busy, they're working full time, they're out there, and they want to be in the know. There are those who are maybe finished with their whatever they did for 30, 40, 50 years, and they have an entrepreneurial bent in them. They want to monetize what they've been doing. And there's that whole group. And so they're very much, they want both of that. They want the career part of it, but they also want the I want to be in the know. And we do have some who are in the aging out. They come from more socialization. And we have a few of those. And I would say they're a minority, but they're definitely there. And then there's the other side of the spectrum, which are the younger folks that we want to attract. So we really have a twofold issue here about retention of current members, doing all that you said and all that we just talked about, and we want to attract younger members who are obviously working full time. We even had 3 individuals who specifically said, start every chapter meeting with looking at emerging trends. And then we want to follow up on that and find out. Of course, then they wanted to know what happens with that ongoing. It's one thing if it's an emerging trend, but then how does it work into the whole life planning spectrum, and what are folks doing with it? So what we do with that, I don't know, but there was an interest in the process that we're involved in now, and wanting to know more about Future Speak and how it fits into today and what each of us could do to exploit that in our work. So that was, they were very, very inherent in that. Okay, and promoting member projects was another one in that area. That came out a number of times. People in NorCal said, we don't know what New England's doing, and Chesapeake, and so there were different chapters that wanted to know what was happening in the other chapters. And that's something that we'll be taking on as we look at chapter affairs in 2019, and keeping each other abreast more of what different chapters and individuals are doing, so that we can do more of that cross-pollination of ideas and perhaps sharing and member projects. Conferences. A number of people commented on conferences, and rather than going the traditional route that we have since 2007, when the Positive Aging conferences began, there were a number of suggestions around, they said, we want to get to know people. And so they were recommending more regional sorts of things so more people could participate. And it's something the board is actually going to take up at the November meeting as we get a plan for 2019 moving forward. And how might we be able to attend more conferences and perhaps have more members going to regional events, so that there could be the actual meeting there at the conference, and then follow up where chapters could participate more in the conference learnings, and we could use it ongoingly in our work. So that was one area that was mentioned. And the others said, rather than going to the expense, why don't we gather at established conferences on the West Coast, in Middle America, and on the East Coast, so that chapters could either get together in a small cluster, but glom onto and be there as the day before or the day after the LPN group meets, but we meet for their conference, and then get to know each other in the before or the after, or however we work that out. So again, that's something that we're going to look at as a board in our November meeting, and bring recommendations back to the chapters to see what we want to do with it in 19. And there are, by the way, different conferences already established going on the West Coast, in Middle America, and on the East Coast. If you call New Orleans the East Coast, and that's not really, but there are conferences, and we don't know where Positive Aging the Positive Aging Conference will be yet. However, there are some on the 3 coasts, or on the 2 coasts and in Middle America, if we want to go that route.
Joyce?
Yeah.
This is Harry. I just attended the Leading Age conference in Philly. I don't know if you ever heard of Leading Age.
We have, and it's actually, after we're done, I want to talk to you about that, because thank you. I'm glad to know you were there.
Yeah, well, I'll send you, I put together a little presentation for tomorrow. I'll send it to you. It's a present.
Perfect.
All right. But let me tell you.
One that we're considering. They're on our list. We have a list of 7 of them.
They are the leaders in innovation and what's happening. So, and right now they're going to be on the West Coast next year, but they are something that we could as a group join and network with them, because they have the future of what's happening, and they have the money. So
terrific. Send the information. We'll discuss it next week, and we'll definitely have it in the mix for our plan for 2019.
All right, great.
Perfect. Thank you. And the last 2, looking at the connector. Bruce, I'm going to turn it over to you, because there were a couple recommendations there on connector, and so you might want to address those.
Yeah, so one thing obviously is improving training and heightening the internal use. That came up a number of times. So far, I've kind of carried the bulk of the training, obviously. And the goal for next year is in the process and procedure package we just sent out, we're hoping that we can recruit members from each chapter who feel comfortable enough to begin to help other members. If this is going to work, we have to spread the wealth of learning how to use the connector, and have to really encourage members to start using the tool. I mean, we spent good money on it, and those of us who are using it for meeting are finding great value in that. It offers a lot of opportunity for us to connect on a spontaneous basis through VC or for meetings like this on Zoom, and we should be making the most of that. But also the forums, to use them more aggressively so that people can actually discuss things that they're interested in ongoing, and to contribute to the articles there, and for us to start posting. There has been a hold up temporarily on that, because there is an adjustment being made to the system over the next week or so, but that really hasn't been the issue up until now. So I'm hoping that in 2019, we can at least find 1 or 2 members in each chapter who become sufficiently well-versed that they're willing to help members who have been slow to adapt, and that the members will begin to use the instant video conferencing for having conversations and calls and talking with each other, and that we can make more use. And I think that we should be looking for innovative ways. One thing that I can report on is that Kendall and I in New England I'm purchasing an all direction microphone for us to use at LPN meetings in New England, and we're going to start experimenting with it before meetings, and then hopefully by our January quarterly, we're going to try to broadcast to anyone who goes online and comes on through my Zoom. They'll be able to see and participate. Any member throughout the nation will be able to see our New England quarterly. So hopefully that will answer some of the other issues that have been raised earlier. As for improving training, we can work on maybe creating some more videos, but I think actually one-on-one seems to be the way that people learn best, and I just can't do it all. So hopefully we can get some other people to step up and share their understanding of how the system works, and maybe we can have a webinar, something we discussed a lot at the beginning of the year or early on, where people can ask questions about what they're unsure about. So, and then, creating videos of members, this has been, and their work, this is something we've long wanted to do. I mean, members, we could easily post, we can post videos with ease as articles on the connector. And we had talked about doing this, which was posting, say, once a week, posting a member profile, or each month posting, a video profile of a member from each chapter as an article. We could do that. It just means that members will have to figure out a way. Either members can use an iPhone and film themselves, or have someone in their family or another LPN member, maybe at a quarterly each, at a chapter meeting, maybe people could pair off and have prepared 2-minute scripts for themselves, and could pair off and do videos of each other on their cell phones, and then send the file, and we could upload them onto the connector. So there are ways we can do it. We just have to make the effort. So, and then lastly on the list of recommendations was offering subscription service for LPNQ to make it financially worthwhile. It takes a lot of effort to put out LPNQ. Now, we did try initially that, and the board decided, and I was particularly believed that this was the way to go, that we should offer it for free outside because it acts as a loss leader. We didn't have a great interest from the public in buying it. I don't know that we ever sold a single copy. So we have already tried that. It didn't really work particularly well. And, you know, the thing that I think that we need is for people to participate in putting it on social media. So when it comes out that they should go to their social media accounts, or they can go to the social media accounts through the connector and blast it out to their networks. And we're likely to then get people's interest and find more people interested in LPN. I mean, that was one of the premises of creating LPNQ, was both to give members a journal that was professional and written by LPN members so that they could additionally market themselves, essentially. But there's no real marketing unless people are getting it out into the world. And that's a joint process. And so for me, as with many of these things, it comes down to members participating, and which goes back to the stunning piece of the survey, which was that people want LPN to provide a lot of things, but there is not a great appetite, according to the survey, for people participating. So either we have to turn that around, or I'm not quite sure where we go from there.
And one of the points with on the social media front and encouraging people to share it, I think that we also need to put out instruction about that and how to do it. I think we have to bear in mind who we are and our demographics, and that some people are, you know, right up there and know what's going on, and many others don't. And so I think there's an education effort that needs to come along with that. And then I think particularly those who are more actively still, you know, pursuing their careers might, you know, be a little bit more in a hurry to jump on to that if they, again, see some additional, you know, with them that way, you know. So.
No, that's a good point. And, you know, we have talked about doing a webinar of some sort for members on social media and how to use it. Mm-hmm. Of course, social media is also in flux a bit right now, but it strikes me as we maybe at the very beginning of the year, Joyce, perhaps it would be of benefit to send out a social media survey to members, which would give us a way to actually build a useful webinar. So if we knew that members, what social media accounts people use or know how to use, how often they use it, if we had some sense of the membership appetite and use of and intelligence of social media, then we could perhaps construct a tutorial that would be beneficial. Otherwise, we're just going to put up basic, and then those people who might need less help, you know, I just think it would be useful to know where the membership stands.
Right.
That's a great, we'll do it. I've already wrote it down. We'll get it in there. The other thing that this points up, Jan, that you brought up, and Bruce, you're just bringing home, is the need to have at least one, if not two, members in every chapter who are more tech savvy to be there as those chapter trainers, so that when a new member comes on board, like we just had 2 new members today, and there are 2 people that are going to get referred to Bruce right now, because I will welcome them as like the chapter leader in my chapter, and you will, and whoever, you know, when a Philadelphia person comes in. But then you say, and here's Bruce, and then he will walk you through. But that should be a chapter person, so they get to know another person in their chapter, and that way they can build their internal network, and the chapter people can find out who they are and help them build a network right where they are, as compared to everything getting referred to Bruce, which isn't fair. And we've come to a point where you're right, we need to spread this wealth around. And so be thinking of who are the more tech savvy people in your group, who may get called on by your chapter leads or your leadership team to fulfill that role within your group.
And I would just say it's not a matter of fairness to me. It's a matter of survival for the organization.
Well, that's true too.
If we're going to be a sustainable organization, then people have to contribute. If people are not interested enough to participate, then I don't really see if, it's my issue right now is I believe that we have to get members active if they want the organization to be sustainable.
If you look at the new onboarding process, that's the one it's just coming out now. It actually says in there about for chapter leads or whoever, when the new person comes on, the chapter lead has a conversation. What's one thing you will do to contribute to the chapter? And it could be as simple as helping to fix chairs or do whatever when you're going to meet. And then something you're willing to do for the larger organization, which could be something like, Bruce, what are the next 2 titles of the next 2 LPNQs coming out?
Well, the current one that was supposed to come out was on aging and addiction. I'm not sure because I haven't received very many things on that. After that, it's lifelong learning. It will be the winter issue coming out probably in February. So
to know that now.
We do know it's been posted for the last couple of months.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying this is another possibility to spread that word around, and for someone, because we're all involved with lifelong learning, and to think what's a creative way I might write a little article on that, and then to get that to Bruce, and they've got a couple months to do it. So it's getting the word out and then following up so that people do something with it in each of the chapters. And that way it sustains itself and we can move this into a more viable option because it's an excellent resource. It's just that we need more participation in it.
Well, and again, 2 thoughts just tying back to a few things I've said before that again, I guess it would be interesting to know in terms of, of the 4 segments of our population, how many are, again, in that more active career stage. Because again, that is more likely, I think, the group that's going to be drawn to writing and, learning about, posting something on social media. So maybe, again, that would be helpful information, and maybe there's some ways to reach out specifically to those groups or those people, those individuals. And then also, I like very much the idea of some tutorials and, again, better understanding of where people are with social media right now. Where are they? What's their knowledge base, their comfort base? I mean, I've been doing some workshops myself over the past several months of online marketing, different ways to market in the online environment. And, just a couple things have cropped up of some, opportunity for a learning session with a copywriter and a subscription to a social media group that can help you with, how to run a social media campaign yourself, because again, I don't think that, I'm speaking for myself, but I'm just sort of generalizing that there may be others like me who weren't trained that way to, and are not as familiar, and maybe that's a valuable service that we can offer to everybody, but particularly those who are still, going at it career-wise and realizing they've got to keep up with the new ways of how to communicate and get your words out and monetize what you're doing, the more educated we can be on how to use social media and use it well, as opposed to, yes, I'd love to write an article, but, come up with a topic and an interesting angle and so on and so forth. Some people are strong writers and have done that before, and others it's much a newer territory. So if we can provide some additional educational opportunities that way, that kind of talking about trends and that we help our constituents be still be on that bandwagon and be moving ahead.
Yeah, Jan, that's called practice management.
Mm-hmm.
Practice management coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Everything related to your practice, marketing,
Mm-hmm.
social media,
Mm-hmm.
practice management.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
I think those are good suggestions, and I think that I think, Joyce, we also might, we maybe piggyback it or just do two separate surveys. It might be worth putting out a survey that asks member to check which of these 4 categories do they consider themselves: emerging professional, active professional, mature, aging out professional, however you want to classify it. But it might be worth asking members to self-identify in that way. We might get a handle. But, you know, again, for the organization to be sustainable, part of what we know we have to do is recruit people who are active in their careers. Life Planning Network needs that in order to create a sustainable leadership, some legacy. It just is not going to survive if it's dependent upon those who are semi-retired or aging out.
Bruce, can you hear me? This is Marge Brown.
Hi, Marge. How are you?
Hi.
Good. How are you?
Good.
Hi, Joyce. And I was just wondering about getting members to participate. It would be helpful for me if, like, I just saw a list of, like, maybe once a month or anything. We need this. This is 10 things that you could do that we need or something. I don't know if that would work for you guys or not, but sometimes if you know what the possibilities are, it's easier to sign up.
Oh, that's easy to do.
Yeah, well,
What a great suggestion.
Yeah, I see, that on some other places they say this is what we need. And so I don't know, that would help me.
So I have a question. How would we get that information out that would be easier, that you would see it? That would be the easiest way.
Just an email. Just an email to, it could be just an email on the, just like we got the email about this meeting and we got the email, we get emails about meetings. Well, just, we got emails about the survey. So it'd just be an email. This is what we need for these dates.
That's
great.
Well, it's a good idea, Marge. Thank you. And I think that really the means of getting it out with all things, what I'm discovering is that we have to post in many places. So
wherever.
We could send out by email, put it in a newsletter, and put it in an article on the just
anything,
as many places as possible, because otherwise this hit and miss is my.
That's right. And who to contact. So here's what we need, and here's an email and the name, and then scan it. And if there's something you think you want to do or could take on, contact that person. Does that work, Marge?
Yeah. Anything that you want to try is fine with me. I appreciate everything you do, and but this is, sometimes I don't know, like I can, in a certain time period, if I knew what you needed, it would be really easy to say yes to something on a list. As as far as opposed to not really knowing.
Got it. It's a point well taken. Thank you. Consider, we're going to implement that one tonight.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, be careful what you ask for. No. Anyway, thank you all. We've reached, I just realized we're beyond the hour. Bruce, to think in terms of if you have something else to add, we will make this known. How are we going to post this so that people can see this data? And the other thing is, if anyone wants to see the the total list, which were all the ideas before they were clustered. This represents the clustering that Bruce did, which is 20 ideas listed here, really represent about 60 broader ideas, some of which there was replication. But if anyone wants to see that expanded list, I would be glad to send it to them. And you would just send me an email and I'll just whip it off to you.
Well, great. Thank you, Joyce. I think what I'll do is I'll create, after I download the video, I'll create an article, I'll post it on the connector, and we can send out a notice that the session is available on video, and in that article I'll post the charts, and we can post the findings as well. So, and that's.
I think that's it. I would say if we had one sentence that wrapped up what this survey said to me, was that people are very busy. They care. They want to see the organization thrive. They're busy. They're stretched in a lot of different directions. And collectively, people are saying, just keep doing what you're doing and we'll figure out the rest of it. But here, as we heard over this last hour, these are the areas that we have to work on. We have our strengths and we certainly have our weaknesses or areas that we need to improve. So that said, thank you all very much. And have a wonderful evening. And Marge, thank you for that suggestion. I can't wait because nobody ever asked me how you can help do my work. So
good. Well, I hope it works.
Well, it is. All of your suggestions were great. So Harry, Jan, Marge, thank you. Bruce and I welcome your input. And for everyone else listening, if you have any questions, feel free to email or call. We're always here and available.
Okay.
Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.